It's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. Now, I'm going to start off by saying some thanks that I need to say, and then what I'm going to be talking about is this case that we've been following of this very sad case, and to be honest, getting sadder all the time, of this British couple, Andrew and Dawn Searle, who were found dead in their chateau or their villa, their farmhouse, whatever you want to call it, over there in France. And, you know, this case has been very mysterious, very confusing. Initially, it was thought that possibly both of this married couple, both of them had been killed. Maybe a botched robbery, a robbery gone wrong. There was talk about it maybe being to do with Andrew's previous life, if you like, before he retired, where he was investigating financial wrongdoings of organised crime, etc. Was it something to do with that? Had he been targeted? Anyway, now it seems like it's not that at all, and there are different theories emerging now. Theories that were always considered at the time, but we're going to look at them, and now they seem to be taking more shape as far as the French authorities are concerned, as their investigations continue. It seems like it wasn't a robbery at all. It seems like it wasn't a double red rum at all. It seems like it was a completely different scenario, and that's what we're going to talk about in this video. But first of all, I just want to thank everybody, because on this particular YouTube channel, I have just hit 4,000 subscribers. I think I've got 4,012 subscribers. Thank you so much to all of you that have subscribed, all of you that like my videos, all of you share my videos. Special thank you, as always, to my members. Every Thursday we have an exclusive members-only live stream. Also, you get to use the emojis, the special members emojis, and most important of all, you get to support my channel if you enjoy watching my channel. If you don't, what are you doing here? No, sorry, that's been just a joke. Anyway, also, I have I think it's 2,730 subscribers on my Spanish and English with Vicky channel, where I also stream live to and talk about crime as well, because the crime seems to have proved more popular than the Spanish videos. But I do teach Spanish. For those of you who don't know, in my other life, I'm a Spanish teacher, an English teacher, and that is in my other life. So I've got that YouTube channel as well. I've also now got coming up to 600 followers on TikTok. TikTok's a very new thing for me. I've only really started doing it properly recently. But thank you for that. So any of you who follow me on any of my social media platforms, be it YouTube, TikTok, X, I have got Instagram too, but I hardly ever use that, Facebook, etc. Thank you so much. But special thank you to the people that have brought this channel, the Vicky Marie Chats Crime channel, to over 4,000 subscribers. Thank you. Okay, so let's turn the banner off now. I'm going to say hello to anyone who's in the chat already. Oh, thank you, David. Hi, David. And hi to those of you. I can see there's other people watching at home, lurkers. As I always got, you know, I enjoy being a lurker too on other channels. Some people don't like to join in the live chat. I want to say hello to everyone who's watching on replay crew. So here we are, it's Monday morning. It's been a bit of a sad Monday morning so far in the crime world, because we saw that Jenny, the lady we've been following, the girl who went missing the runner who went missing, Jenny Hall, unfortunately yesterday, she was found without life. And, well, we don't know exactly what happened, but the police have said they're not looking for anyone suspicious. So it seems like Jenny might have took a decision into her own hands that she'd just had enough of this world. And I just hope that Jenny is okay wherever she is and at peace. So that was the first thing. Then when I was looking at the news, as I always do every morning, I saw this news about this couple. We've been following this case. So that's what happened. One of their neighbours called round at their house because they were worried that they hadn't seen them out with the dogs like they normally do. They normally all go for a walk together, or certainly Andrew maybe with this neighbour. The neighbour called round, found Dawn, the lady, in the garden, sort of semi-dressed. It's not been made really clear whether she was in her pajamas or whether she wasn't. It doesn't really matter, but she was lay in the garden with jewelry all around her and cash. And then inside the house, it looked like the house had been turned upside down. So there were thoughts, that it might be a burglary. But then Andrew was found, and Andrew had deleted himself by HANGING on a radiator in the house, and he had no signs of injuries, defensive injuries, etc. So it was very mysterious, wasn't it? Because it was like, well, had Dawn become a victim to a sort of a failed robbery attempt? So had she surprised people who were robbing the house? But then why did they not take the jewelry with them and the cash that was around the house? Why was that not taken? So that was very strange, because obviously normally in a burglary people take the jewelry and the cash, but it hadn't been taken. And then there was the thing of why had Andrew, if Andrew had not done what he did to himself, why did he have no defensive injuries? And then there's the other mystery of the actual murder weapon. As far as Dawn was concerned, they haven't, as far as we know, as it was the other day, and we haven't heard any different, the police have not been able to find the murder weapon. And Dawn was killed by blunt force trauma to the head, apparently. And so where was the murder weapon? The police said they hadn't been able to find anything that had likely done that. So that again led people to believe, well, has somebody done this to Dawn and to Andrew? Maybe to make it look like it was Andrew. But the trouble is there are no defensive wounds on Andrew. So it seems unlikely, doesn't it? There's no other, it was found at his post-mortem that he died by HANGING. So there's no other signs of any other reason for his death. So it's a real mystery, and this is what the French authorities have got to pick this apart. There was right from the beginning, didn't seem to be looking for anyone. There was no signs of a manhunt. Where people that have been that know the area, know the property, say it's very close to other properties. Although it's sort of remote in one way that it's semi-detached, it's not so far away from other properties that if Dawn had, what was initially thought, run out into the garden, possibly screaming because someone was following her with a weapon, nobody heard anything. Nothing was heard. So that was thought sort of unlikely, because it's thought that this property is so close to other properties in the area, and of course they all know each other, that something would have been noticed. So that's where we are in this case. So there's been a lot of conjecture, and of course Dawn, her son because Dawn and Andrew, they've not been married that long. There's, I think, a substantial age difference between them, but not that that matters. There are rumours that maybe there were some financial problems. And Dawn's son is a famous actor who has acted in British soap operas and various other things, and a musician. So that has created a lot of interest around this case as well. So Dawn is Scottish, and her and Andrew got married, as I say, not that long ago. I think it's only a couple of years ago, but we'll probably see that as we look into it a bit more. So what happened? You know, it's a tragedy, whichever way you look at it. And a lot was made of the fact that Andrew went out to buy some lottery tickets and a bar of chocolate at some point. And I've said right from the beginning, since I watched that video of him buying those lottery tickets, and we're going to look at it again in a minute, to me looked very stressed. Like the lady in the shop said he seemed normal. Now, she'll know more than me what is normal about Andrew, but I do get feelings about things. Straight away when I watch that video, to me, I don't think he looks like he's not stressed. He looks stressed. Was that trip to buy the lottery tickets an attempt at an alibi? Was he intending to go back home and claim that while he was gone, this had happened? And then could he just not face it all? Who knows what went through his mind or what really transpired? But that's what we're going to look into. Hi, Mary. I think the thing that we cannot escape here, at the end of the day, this is a terrible tragedy. If it's true that Andrew, for whatever reason, maybe a domestic argument, or maybe Andrew was descending into some sort of mental health decline, you know, that nobody knew about. He said that he had financial troubles, etc. And maybe they had an argument, maybe you know, Dawn was threatening to leave him. I mean, we just don't know. Or maybe he just had enough. Sometimes people don't need a reason, not reason in the sense that we think of it. You know, we're sat here, we don't know these people, we're emotionally detached, and we try and look at it. We try and look at these cases from, from our point of view. But sometimes things happen, don't they, in your life, and you look back, maybe, if you're lucky enough to be able to look back, I think, oh, I don't know why I did that. Why did I do that? But, you know, we're not emotionally involved. Although we're invested in this case, that we care what happened to them, we're not emotionally involved in that. We're not family. And God knows how the family are trying to make sense of this. Anyway, so I think we'll start off just looking at some of the articles. So this is the French authorities now that are coming out with this, I say new theory. It's not a new theory, but it seems to be taking shape now. Whereas I think in the beginning, the French police were reluctant to say what they thought had happened. I think now they are coming to the conclusion, or at least this is what the British press are saying. Now, I have to say, I had a look at the French press to see if we get a different aspect on it. They're saying a lot that the British press are saying this. So I don't know, but what the British press is saying is coming from the French authorities. But I did notice when I was trying to Google what the French press was saying about it, they're giving the same story, but they're saying this is what the British press are saying. Do you see what I mean? They're sort of trying to avoid saying it themselves. Anyway, British mother of Hollyoaks star who was found dead at her idyllic French home was murdered by her husband in a fake robbery, police fear. A woman found dead alongside her husband Hang on a sec, just let me check this is coming through okay. Yeah, you can see it okay. Put it on full screen. A woman found dead alongside her husband at their idyllic French home is likely to have been dumped in the garden as part of a staged burglary, detectives have said. Andrew Searle, 65, and his wife Dawn, 56, who only married 2 years ago, so there's nearly a 10-year age difference between them, were found dead earlier this month by a horrified neighbour who was worried he had not seen them out with their dogs. They had started a new life at a villa in picturesque Los Pesquiers, north of Toulouse, after moving from Musselburgh in East Lothian 10 years ago. Now, I'm not quite sure how they met, but, you know, maybe online. A lot of people meet online these days, don't they? But let's have a look at this. Oh, sorry. As much as, as much as I did a video about Jenny's mum, I thought this video was going to be about this couple. Mrs. Searle was discovered in her pyjamas outside their house on February the 6th with a head injury and jewellery scattered around her body. Her husband, a former financial investigator, was found dead inside the house. hanging from a radiator. So it was initially believed that Mrs. Searle had tried to run away from an attacker before she was caught and battered to death. Oh, just poor Dawn. Whatever happened to Dawn, whoever killed her, whether it was robbers or her own husband, she must have been terrified. There was evidence of a frantic search inside the property with drawers and cupboards left open and furniture upended. You know, so that maybe that was just too much, you know, because it sounded like an episode of Columbo or something. That's what these, the perpetrators always do, try and make it look as if there's been a robbery. You know, do robbers do that? They might leave drawers and cupboards left open, but would they upend furniture? Anyway, inquiry sources said that Mrs. Searle would certainly have been heard by near neighbours if she had been murdered in the garden. I mean, you just sort of get this feeling, you know, did Andrew lose the plot completely and then thought, oh my God, what am I going to do? I've got to make this look like a robbery. And that's, personally, my thoughts would go towards that. Then he went off to buy his lottery tickets. That's like a way of giving himself an alibi. But you know what, mate? You know, Andrew is probably not a bad person. So, you know, maybe he just couldn't live with it, you know, just couldn't face it then when he came home to find his, you know, what he'd done. People do things sometimes in the heat of the moment, especially when they're on the edge. Maybe Andrew was on the edge. I mean, things will come out about his mental state. I wonder if he's been married before. There'll be, you know, the police will be interviewing, I would imagine, any ex-partners or ex-wives he might have. Did he have a history of mental illness? Did he have a history of aggression? And maybe he just lost it that day for whatever reason. I think anyone can lose it. Now, looking at this picture, I mean, as I say, we've got the video. I'm going to look at the video. He does look stressed to me. His face, he looks completely stressed. But as I say, I don't know him. I don't know what he normally looked like. The woman from the shop said he seemed normal, so I don't know. One investigator said what is very likely is that the victim was killed inside the house with doors and windows shut on a winter's night, and that's why nobody heard anything. And then her body was dumped in the garden, and it is believed that the killing was a staged burglary gone wrong. And this fits the murder self-deletion theory in the investigation that apparently saw Mr. Searle kill his wife before hanging himself. Nicholas Rigaud-Müller, the Rodez prosecutor leading the investigation, told the Sunday Post that a marital crime followed by self-deletion was probable. He said that if a stranger had attacked the couple, it's likely they would have raised the alarm by shouting. There have been no arrests in connection with the deaths, nor, and I think this is key, nor any public appeals for potential suspects to come forward. Post-mortem examination results show there were no defensive wounds on Mr. Searle, nor any forensic evidence suggesting that persons unknown touched him or his wife. So no DNA from other people. Further examinations in the house and its garden have also failed to uncover evidence of a third party. Les Pesquiers and the wider Villefranche de Rouergue area are well covered by CCTV in the form of police, traffic and private cameras. But Mr. Rigaud-Müller has not completely ruled out the intervention of a third party in the deaths, and the investigation remains open. The Searle home is a cordoned-off crime scene with its swimming pool covered. And Jean-Sébastien Orthibal, the mayor of Los Pesquiers, said the couple were extremely happy together. Now, it may be that they were, but we know, don't we? We know. You cover crime, you watch any crime reality shows, etc. You can see these pictures of people. So sometimes I think that the happier people look on their social media, etc., the less happy they are. Couples that look as if they argue, that look as if they argue, they're the ones that maybe they're sort of happier together. Hi, Maria. Excuse me. It's very sad. But, I think it's typical. How many times do we see people looking so happy on their social media pictures and actually they're not? Mr. Orthibal officiated at their wedding in the hamlet in 2023 when Mrs. Searle was walked down the aisle by actor and country singer Callum Kerr, her son from a previous marriage. And Mr. Kerr starred as PC George Kiss in the Channel 4 soap Hollyoaks and has appeared in the romantic drama Virgin River on Netflix. So, I think also it's a bit of a red flag, isn't it, if they've not made any arrests, but not only that, they've not made any public appeals for suspects. I think the police are pretty convinced probably of what's happened. Now, the one thing that was a bit strange, wasn't it? Do you remember the murder weapon has not been found or had not been found? And of course, that makes you think, well, where's the murder weapon then? If it was if Mr. Searle, if Andrew had sort of done it, wouldn't the murder weapon still be there? But, this new sort of, I'm thinking that probably when Andrew went off to buy his lottery tickets and try and provide himself with an alibi, I expect he took the murder weapon with him and hid it somewhere. It may turn up at some point. Expect the police are looking for it. But I just feel that maybe when he got home, and you don't know what else happened after that, what phone calls he received, or I don't know, whatever happened. If it's true that he did it, went off to try and give himself an alibi by buying his lottery tickets, and then maybe he went back and when he sort of saw what he'd done, maybe just couldn't do it anymore, and maybe that's why he did. I don't know. I mean, that is conjecture. I'm just saying, but it would explain if he had gone off to try and give himself an alibi. It would explain, wouldn't it, why the murder weapon wasn't there, because he'd have taken it off and maybe it could be anywhere, couldn't it? So Mr. Searle was originally from West Sussex, while his wife grew up in Eyemouth in Berwickshire. I don't know how to pronounce that. Berwickshire. Berwickshire. It's understood that Mr. Searle spent at least 20 years working with the Police and Serious Fraud Office, targeting organised crime groups involved in financial crimes such as money laundering. Now, this was a key thing, wasn't it, that led people to believe that maybe something from Mr. Searle's past, from his professional past, had led to him being targeted like this. So CCTV footage appeared to show his last known movements entering a tobacconist in Villefranche-de-Rouergue. Less than 24 hours before he was dead, he seemed happy and relaxed. I don't get that at all. I don't think he did look happy and relaxed, but we'll have a look in a minute, as he bought a chocolate bar and lotto tickets. So let's have a look at this video. Do you think he looked? You tell me what you think. Please leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Does he look relaxed or not? Let's see. Look at his eyes. You know, I don't know. There's just something. But as I say, I don't know him. I don't know how he normally looks. But I wouldn't say on this video, looking at his eyes, and I thought it right from the beginning, I didn't think he looked relaxed. But then I don't know how he normally looks, so... Personally, I think he's trying to look relaxed, but he doesn't look relaxed. But anyway. Right, we'll watch that again. Now, but just before that, I mean, it may be that it's been made to look as if he's done it. But if there's no DNA, I mean, it doesn't take, I suppose somebody could be wearing gloves. You know, you could go on and on thinking about it. There may be no other DNA from any other person. Apparently, that's what they were just saying. There's no DNA on him or his wife from anybody else. But it could be somebody who wore gloves. I mean, it could be an elaborate plot to make it look like it's him. It could be that. You could also think, well, not only where's the murder weapon, but of course he could have taken that off somewhere and disposed of it. But also you'd be thinking, well, would he not have left a note? You know, if he did decide that, if he went, he's trying to provide his alibi, he went off, bought his lottery tickets, went back home, and then just couldn't live with what he'd done. Would he not have left a note so everybody knew what had happened? Or was he just beyond that? The trouble is we don't know what his mental state was. Was he just beyond thinking of leaving a note and saying, I'm sorry? You know, because he obviously knew her family, and of course he's got his own family as well. You know, would he not have wanted to say he was sorry at least, or to, you know, avoid all this pain for them by letting them know what had happened? Or maybe he just couldn't face up to admitting it, even though he was going to remove himself from this world. You know, so it's such a sad, so sad. You know, they've only been married 2 years. I'm sure when Dawn married him, well, he's had that. I think they've had that well, they've owned that property for about 10 years, I think. So was it him who owned it? Was it both of them that owned it? You know, they've only been married 2 years. That doesn't mean to say they weren't together before that. So it's just so tragic, isn't it? You know, you look at people, you think they're living the dream, you know, out there in this lovely place in France, and then really maybe everything was catching up with him, like mental health wise or financially they were being squeezed, because Brexit's probably had a lot to do with that as well, because maybe any expat that's living abroad, I know as much as everyone, Brexit affected all of us, especially if you're, so I think he was doing rentals and things like that. Well, you know, because it's harder for British people to go, you know, maybe his business was ruined. And of course, COVID, so you've got the combination of COVID and Brexit affecting his business. And maybe he was just running out of money. I mean, who knows? Anyway, let's just watch this one more time. Yeah, there's something about his eyes, isn't there, Maria? You know, there's something about his eyes. He looks haunted to me, but he may have always looked haunted. You know, just I get these feelings from people. It's only a feeling, but that's how I feel. Yeah, just it's not right. You know, there's something strange about this man and the way he is here. And maybe he thought, oh yeah, there's CCTV there at the lottery shop. I'll go and get on camera. And then when he went home, he just couldn't face it. Also, I mean, I don't know if I'm imagining it, but is he drunk? Because look at this. He seemed very sort of unsure. Hang on, let's go back a bit more. Bit unsteady as he was trying to pay and present his card. But again, I don't know if that's true. That's just a feeling that I get. A little bit unsteady, maybe. Maybe, you know, I suppose if you'd done something like that, the only way you could cope with it was getting off your head or whatever. I don't know. One more time. And this is sort of funny, you know, because as he's waiting behind there, this guy just barges into him as he goes out, doesn't he? Oh, yeah, move out of the way. But again, had he been drinking? Was he stood too close behind that guy? You know, that's definitely my meter distance that I require of everyone when I'm paying at the supermarket. I can't stand it when someone's right stood on my shoulder. But why was Andrew stood so close to him? The guy nearly knocked him over. Maybe he was trying to get on the CCTV. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and it's that side look there. So let's just go back to another article. This article is in the Mirror. And again, all the British press basically is saying now that it was probably a murder self-deletion, and that Andrew tried to make it look like a burglary, maybe realised, you know, as you say, David, maybe realised he couldn't, and that he was going to get caught. So maybe just thought, all right, you know, that's the end of it. I'm not going to prison. I just want to look. So these are the pictures sort of the area. The gendarmerie are there. Yeah. So the prosecutor claimed that Mr. Searle may have hoped he could explain the crime to the police by organising a staged burglary before changing his mind and taking his own life. To me, that seems like the most logical explanation. And the thing is, as he went off to buy his lottery tickets, he will have seen all the CCTV cameras, etc. Apparently, there's loads of CCTV around there. So, you know, maybe it just hit home to him. He's never going to get away with this. Because if somebody would have gone to that house to do that, they would have been caught on CCTV. And, no, you know, from what we can gather, the police have released nothing. They're not looking for any suspects. So, unfortunately, it would... Oh, let me see that. Sorry. Unfortunately... Yeah, he's probably just realised he can't get away with it. So the results of a post-mortem examination showed no defensive wounds on Mr. Searle. And forensic evidence has not shown any suggestion that anyone else was in the home or touched the man or his wife. So that's important, isn't it? The forensic evidence, of course, is important. Let's have a look at, see if we can see any more nice pictures of them. Shortly before 6 p.m. on Wednesday the 5th, that was when he went to the lottery shop. So that already happened. Yeah. So it says, so he was caught on store CCTV buying his customary pair of €3 lottery tickets and his favourite chocolate bars. Mr. Searle gathers up his purchases and, wrapped up in a thick fleecy jacket and warm hat against the bitter Gallic weather, he pops back outside to where his Scots wife Dawn is. Was she in the car then? Is that what they're saying? Was she in the car? Do they know she was in the car, or did he just say she was in the car? That'd be something that I'd like to know for sure. Was Dawn in the car when he popped in to get those lottery tickets? Or did he say she was in the car? Or did Madame Palazzi actually see her in the car? That's interesting, because if she was in the car, then obviously she was still alive at that point, and whatever happened after he got home. So apparently it had been their dream to move abroad, buy an old doer-upper and drift gently into retirement. They would walk their 2 hunting dogs. The 2 dogs are safe, by the way, join in with local events, even host an annual barbecue for the 100-strong community to mark the end of those long, lazy summers. The French have a phrase for it, la vie en rose, that blissful state where everything seems a source of joy. Yeah. Well, if she was in the car, then, you know, that makes a difference, doesn't it? So this is the timeline. Wednesday, February the 5th, time unknown. Neighbours see Andrew Searle looking very agitated and claim he was arguing. Oh, let me just share this tab. So this is the timeline. Neighbours see Andrew Searle looking very agitated and claim he was arguing violently in English on the phone outside the home he and his wife Dawn share. On Wednesday, February the 5th at 6 p.m. So that argument that neighbours had heard, there's no time for that. But 6 p.m. he's captured on CCTV entering a tobacconist. He is seen buying a chocolate bar and €3 lorry tickets. He thanks the shopkeeper and walks back to his car, where his wife Dawn was reportedly waiting. Well, was she waiting there or not? Maybe he said she was in the car. Anyway, then the following day, a neighbour discovers the body. Stop. A neighbour discovers the body of Mrs. Searle outside their home at 12:20. Around 12:20. So it's quite early, isn't it, in the morning? Police say she was found partially closed, had a serious head injury, and there was jewellery strewn around her. The neighbour calls emergency services, and when police arrive, they search the house and find Mr. Searle dead inside the home. So, yeah, I think it's key, obviously. Was she waiting in the car or not? You know, was that had whatever had happened already happened, and then that was his alibi? Or was she in the car? Why are they saying she was in the car? Who says she was in the car? So, yeah, more to come out on this, obviously. Hopefully more details will come out that will actually establish for their families what happened. Okay, so that's more or less all we know at the moment. It is very, very sad and getting sadder. Do you know what? You never know what's happening behind closed doors, do you? And I really do think sometimes the people who seem so keen to make out how happy they are, I see it on Facebook, Twitter, etc., day in, day out. You know, photos, everyone's smiling. Oh, we're going here, we're doing this. What fantastic life we're having. And, you know for certain that behind the scenes, their life is not, I'm not talking about them in particular, I'm talking about people in general. Social media is not an accurate measure of how happy people are, is it? It's just, at the end of the day, nobody's blissfully happy. Nobody is, are they? Everybody has their problems. There's nobody, none of us, not one of us, who haven't got some sort of problem. And that reminds me, actually, while I light my candle today, the candle for this video is for all of us, because we all need it. We can have, there's loads of problems we might have. Financial problems, mental health problems, physical health problems. Oh, I want to like that for one of our chatters is having a bit of an operation today, and that's for them as well. People who've maybe got suffering from bereavement, lost a pet, lost a loved one, just battling to get up every morning and carry on with life. They've got problems in a relationship, either with a partner or with their children or siblings. Life is difficult, isn't it? And it really is. There's so many different problems that you might have, and that's apart from just general depression. When people are depressed, they normally don't even know why they're depressed. They may seem as if they've got everything, but You know, they don't feel like that. And then you've got people who they'll be sort of just worrying where their next bill's going to be paid, or how they're going to get to the supermarket, or how they're going to pay for their animals' vet bills, or, you know, financial problems, which are just as important. They can make you depressed. You know, it's just, life is difficult, but you know what? At least if we get up in the morning, we've got, you know, to me, I'll take pleasure in just getting up in the morning and making my coffee. You know, it's like just the fact that you've got a roof over your head. You get up in the morning, the dogs always make me feel better because they always at least make me feel like I'm loved. You make your coffee, you sit down, plan your day or whatever. You're lucky if you've got a roof over your head to do that. So you have to appreciate the small things, don't you? But anyway, okay, I'm going. I've got some classes later. I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, oh, and don't forget, this candle is for all of you. Honestly, I do pray for all my subscribers every day. Not only my subscribers, but, you know, just a general prayer for humankind in general. You know, we need it at the moment because it's a very strange sort of time that we're living through, isn't it? But at least we're living through it. So I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, may your God go with you. Bye.